Despite modern views, sometimes when we unearth the soil, we find surprising seeds of truth. For instance, today, some herbs like Mary Jane are given a bad rep. I'm not a partaker of Mary Jane, but I can recognize her medicinal and sacred uses without advocating for her recreational use. In the United States, she was classed as a Schedule 1 substance. Schedule 1, according to the DEA, are substances with no currently accepted medicinal use and a high potential for abuse. However, it was recently proposed that she be scheduled as a Schedule 3, which are not likely to cause dependence. Of course, the medical establishment, politics, and their fake science have a role to play in all of this. But more than that is the assertion that Mary Jane has no medicinal uses. She does. But there are definitely other herbs that do similar work without the psychoactive component. Nevertheless, she has been historically used for pain relief, sleep issues, to prevent vomiting, to help with glaucoma, and arthritis, just to name a few things. Beyond her medicinal benefits, she emerges in unexpected light. At a shrine in the territory of the ancient Tel Arad in the Kingdom of Judah, archaeologists discovered residues not just of frankincense, but of cannabis burned on an altar. In other words, a substance that later generations, nations, and religions demonized was once used in worship. And this invites a reflection. If an herb was once sacred, used in temple ritual, and also has medicinal benefits, used to repair the bodily temple, what does it mean that today it is treated as a major criminal offense in many places, some punishable by death, while at the same time the destruction of another person's body, that is, their temple, often elicits only mild legal response? Let's consider two relevant cases. First is the case of Jesse Butler, a young man from Oklahoma who was accused of violently assaulting two teenage girls. The reports say there was physical force and injuries, but somehow he was treated as a youthful offender. The charges against him were reduced, the punishment light. Now let's cross the ocean to Indonesia. Another man, Jared Shaw, a former basketball player, is facing the harshest possible punishment after being caught with what officials described as controlled substances. In that country, laws around these items are strict enough that a person can face life imprisonment or even death. And these are two different countries, two different systems, sure, but even in America, possession of marijuana or other marijuana-related offenses can land one in prison for years, decades, or even life. Yet there exist many Jesse Butlers, those who have committed one of the most heinous crimes, the desecration of another's sacred place, their bodily temple. And these Jesse Butlers are extended grace and even favoritism. If one of these things is a crime, the other should be all the more. So I wonder, are we defending the sanctity of the body or the sanctity of the state? That's a rhetorical question. When violating a person's body carries less consequence than possessing a plant, something is spiritually upside down. The body is sacred. To harm it is to desecrate something divine. It is our temple, after all. 1 Corinthians 3:17 says, "If anyone destroys Yah's temple, Yah will destroy that person. For Yah's temple is sacred, and you are that temple." Yah doesn't play about the destruction of his temples. And you could argue that recreational use of marijuana is also destruction of Yah's temple, sure. But with the ancient Israelites' use of the plant in worship, you can't take away from it both its medicinal and sacred uses. And besides, it just isn't comparable to a violent sexual assault against another. Violently entering someone else's temple and taking what you want just because you think you deserve it, and you want to exert power over that temple like you are the god of it to be worshipped? No. Justice. What is it in a corrupt system that's in the hands of the wicked one? Because the way that we answer that question reveals what we truly worship.